The 7 Deadly Sins. Gluttony. There is something perverted about watching someone shoving food into their mouths over and over again. It felt embarrassing at first. But Yumi could not get her eyes off the screen. It was like discovering porn all over again. She would sometimes catch herself holding her breath, fantasizing herself getting all the pleasures from shoving food into her mouth. And just down the street from where she lives, Jun, too, got a vicarious thrill from watching the same video for the first time in his life. It was not like anything he had felt before. Watching people, especially women, eating in public with his own eyes did not give him the same effect as watching this person in the video eating. In public, people tend to take their time to finish their food, talking while eating, but also some silent eaters with impeccable table manners. They were usually the boring ones. One thing missing from that is the sense of urgency and greed to get as much food as possible into one's mouth. The perfect sound of light slurping and gentle chewing. The satisfaction on the face of the eater with every bite they take. And most importantly, the ability to finish. Mukbang is the new porn for both Yumi and Jun. The 20 minutes horror stories, presenting you with riveting tales of true ghost encounters, psychological horrors, and the twisted criminal minds. Please subscribe to stay tuned. Mukbang. The combination of two Korean words, myeongnyeon, which means eating, and bansong, which means broadcast. Taking the first syllable of both words and combining them, you have the word mukbang, which translates into the word eatcast. And if you ever get the chance to stumble upon one of the millions of mukbang videos available out there, it is not hard to guess what it entails.
You should go live stream and do the onigiri challenge tonight. See how fast it takes to finish 20 onigiris.
Jun was excited by his idea.
I can make all sorts of fillings for your onigiris, so you won't get sick and tired of the taste that easily. What do you say, Yumi? Maybe like 5 different fillings. 4 for each filling.
Jun had been appointed as manager of Yumi Mukbang channel. The channel owned by his girlfriend, Yumi, a famous mukbanger. By then, Yumi had joined the mukbang world just over a year ago, when it had just begun to gain popularity worldwide. Since then, she had gained a steady following online. Some of her most popular videos had successfully garnered millions of views. Jun, with feeding fetish, was just the right person to manage the channel. He would plan for her meals and film her while eating. It was not by coincidence that Yumi had first stumbled upon a mukbang video. She was lonely and hungry, and her Google search had led her straight to a video of a Korean guy trying to eat 10 bowls of noodles as fast as he possibly could. The noodles, covered in what seemed to be a layer of thick black sauce, is known as jjajangmyeon, a Chinese-Korean version of black bean noodles. He was timing himself eating. It looked so forceful yet so effortless. So rushed yet so calm. Neatly shoving a huge amount of black bean noodles into his mouth with a pair of chopsticks. Much easier said than done, she would later discover.
Oh my God! I love your idea!
Yumi excitedly exclaimed.
I bet I can set a record for eating 20 onigiris straight. Let me check and see if anyone's done it.
Yumi was obsessed. It has not always been that way. For Yumi, eating was always personal. Not one to socialize much, eating with people was daunting. For her, it felt like sex. Extremely intimate and one of the most vulnerable acts that one could perform. Both involving putting something into oneself and feeling good about it. One cannot tell how one looks like while doing both. Some look messy, while some look neat. Some may be quiet, but some noisy. In addition to that, there is the option of going solo, if you are alone. Or simply wanting some quick one, on a busy day. Or, you can do it with a partner, who might introduce you to something new, on the menu. And even do it in a group. Let's say, if you are a part of a company, or a club, who gathers weekly, monthly, or annually, for such events. For both, putting videos out there of people doing them, can potentially generate millions in revenue. Sex, no surprise, with its ancient history. On the other hand, although perhaps by comparison, would never tantamount to the same level, who would have thought that videos of people eating could also be a cash cow? And of course, with so much money going into and out of the game, there is bound to be a darker side. Exploitive in so many ways. Extremely easy to get people influenced and addicted. And when it happens, there is a price to pay for those who succumb to their fate.
You know what? I will try to do 20 onigiris in an hour. Surely, it's easier than all the spicy noodle challenges that I've done.
Said Yumi.
You're right. And who knows? With the right technique, you might even finish in under an hour.
Said Jun. Always pushing Yumi to her limit, believing that she could eat more and faster than she already had. A family who eats together, stays together. Perhaps a testament to the broken family from which Yumi comes from. She does not remember the last time she had sat down with her family for a meal. Growing up, she would always eat alone in her room, in front of a television or a laptop. Yumi's parents, more concerned about their own careers, on top of anything else, had provided her with a lot of money, but no love. Home alone most of her life, growing up, she had to arrange for her own meals. And taught herself some table manners. It did not go well. It never occurred to her that eating could be done beautifully. A performance. An art even. Eating was just a necessity. At university, Yumi felt lonely. She had decided to look for a relationship online with a man who possesses the traits of, in her own words,
caring, and most importantly, love feeding me.
Both traits that were sorely missing from her parents while growing up. It was also around then that Yumi had stumbled upon her first mukbang video on YouTube. Needless to say, she was intrigued and in no time hooked. Watching countless mukbang videos every night to keep herself from feeling lonely. Especially while eating alone in her room. Influenced by the latest mukbang trend, she had wanted to do the infamous spicy noodle challenge. People would post videos of no more than 20 minutes of themselves eating the spiciest noodles in the world online, and had managed to garner millions of views.
How hard could it be?
She thought at first.
All you need to do is to cook the noodles and eat them.
Excited by this, she had bought herself a box of spicy instant noodles. Curious to know how she looks like while eating. And, after watching countless of mukbang videos, she was convinced that she looks exactly like her favorite mukbangers online. But after watching herself eating in a video for the first time, to her dismay, it was far from what she had imagined. She looked nothing like those professional eaters. She was an ugly eater. Yumi could not help but to be critical of herself. Unlike her, they seemed to have the ability to eat non-stop perfectly well. Yumi, on the other hand, had too many pauses in between, drank too much water, took bites that were way too small, and chewed, in a way that was not enticing enough. A lone eater most of her life, she had come to realize that she had developed a few eating habits that were visually and auditorily unpleasant. It became clear that her next mission was to improve on the way she eats, and the only way to get better at something is by doing it over and over again. She decided to eat and film herself eating multiple times a day. It did not take long for her to finish the box of spicy instant noodles. All with great pain and suffering. What's worse, by the time they were all gone, she had only managed to improve ever so slightly her spice tolerance and her eating skills. She had a long way to go before feeling confident enough for the videos to go online.
Oh yeah. You know what's even better? A spicy noodle onigiri,
said Jun, never running out of ideas.
Oh my god, you're right. We can use all sorts of ingredients in the pantry to invent new types of onigiris.
Yumi quipped in.
Yes. We don't need to use the conventional ingredients cause they're boring. We need to invent our own. How about dessert-type onigiris? Chocolate onigiris. We can crush some Oreo cookies for the topping.
Jun continued, adding to the excitement. When Yumi had first started, she did not realize what she had gotten herself into. She had already filled her fridge and pantry to the brim with all sorts of food. She had bought cheese, tubs of mayonnaise, and dozens of cartons of eggs and milk, so she could eat them together with the spicy noodles to reduce the amount of spiciness. She had additional side dishes too, so her mukbang videos would be longer and more interesting for viewers. Given how frequently she had practiced, it took her only a couple of months to finally perfect her eating skills. She had mastered the skill not to make too much noise from slurping or chewing, to anyone's annoyance, but just enough to make it sound delicious. The food variations, timing, and sequence of eating all played important roles. She could now eat without slouching and face the camera with confidence while stuffing her mouth with food. She could also pick up just the right amount of food each time she takes a bite. Not too much, so it would look messy, or too little so it does not look enticing enough to keep the viewers from watching. Unbothered by her significant weight gain, Yumi's ambition to be the perfect mukbanger had been the top priority, and now, finally closer to becoming a reality. After looking through almost 100 video recordings of herself eating, Yumi was finally satisfied. When the anxiety of eating in front of others had disappeared, it was time for her to go onto YouTube and make her mukbang debut. She called it the Yumi Yummy Mukbang channel. As time went by, and more mukbang videos were filmed and posted online, Yumi's popularity started picking up. All the excessive eating and practice had paid off. She had garnered the attention of many subscribers and fans from around the world, including Jun, with feeding fetish, who lived just a few streets away. Jun, the perfect man, who possesses the traits of, in her own words,
caring, and most importantly, love feeding me.
True to his words, Jun would go on to encourage Yumi to pursue her mukbang career. He would be the one, constantly preparing food and feeding her while filming. Watching her eating with gusto and greedily shoving food into her mouth was what he lived for. He no longer needed to hide alone in his room just to watch countless of mukbang videos of people eating online. He now has a girlfriend who do just that, and more importantly, he would always make sure that she finished everything in front of her.
So June, we've been having this session for almost a month now. It's understandable that you feel that way. You have every right to feel angry, sad, and afraid. Most people would feel the same in your situation. But there is nothing much I can do to help if you refuse to say anything to me.
Jun had been assigned a therapist. The trauma of witnessing the death of Yumi in front of his very own eyes had left him unable to speak. By then, the video of Yumi choking on the onigiris could be found circulating online. In the video, Yumi could be heard choking. She could be seen clutching her throat, looking panicked and confused. She was not able to utter a single word, only able to breathe noisily while coughing so hard that the color of her face had turned from crimson red to blue before losing consciousness. Jun, who was only a third her size, was seen in the video, struggling to lift her up. It was physically impossible for him to perform the Heimlich maneuver. She was doing so well, half an hour into the live streaming of her mukbang, shoving almost 2 onigiris into her mouth each time. She had 20 onigiris arranged neatly in front of her, prepared by none other than Jun himself. She was less than halfway through of eating the onigiris and knew that time was running out. If she did not speed up her eating, she would not be able to make it on time. So, behind the scenes, Jun had encouraged her to go faster, to chew less, and to swallow more, which eventually led to her demise. Just a day after Yumi's death, a front page of a sleazy tabloid reads, "Death by Gluttony." They were taken from the circulated mukbang video that was live streamed. Her face censored. But it was not hard to trace them back to the uncensored video online, now circulated and shared amongst thousands of people. The Yumi Yummy mukbang channel remains active, continue to gain subscribers, and increase in viewership. Although, obviously, no new videos have been uploaded ever since the death of Yumi. In other parts of the world, a new trend of dessert onigiris had emerged. Was it a coincidence? Or was it inspired by the Yumi Yummy mukbang channel? No one really cares. Life goes on. And a testament to that is another eating challenge, with title seemingly mocking Yumi's death. How to finish 20 dessert onigiris without choking to death. Thank you very much for watching and see you in the next episode.